is just the start of the Big 12 and Power 5 talk to come. Listen to JJ and Alex Monday on your drive home. Afternoons from 3 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back. It is 1st and 12 right here on KSL News Radio. I'm Alex Kirry. He's Mitch Harper. JJ and Alex is the show that I host on the KSL Sports Zone over on 97.5 FM, our sibling station just upstairs in this building. So far commute for us to be able to do this one in the evenings on Tuesday. But, Mitch, I love talking football on Tuesdays with you, man. I love talking Big 12 football. Our Big 12 games of the week, I had the pick last week. Obviously, the Texas Tech and Utah game, that was an easy one to pick. I was like, that ASU Baylor game is going to be
lived up to it,
and it lived up to being a really, really good game. And man, I'm hoping this week is kind of the same. We don't have the same marquee matchup with the national attention that that Utah Texas Tech game is getting. But give us some thoughts on what this game of the week is going to be for you, and I'll give mine as well.
I'm going with BYU at Colorado, and BYU is now number 25 in the country, so there's a ranking involved in this matchup. I think that just always adds a little bit more national appeal for these type of matchups. But BYU at Colorado is interesting because you've got the revenge factor for Colorado, where they're looking to get revenge against BYU, who hammered Colorado in the Alamo Bowl last December in San Antonio. And for BYU, they have played really well during non-conference play. They were I thought they had a really good performance in that second half against East Carolina. And I think East Carolina could be, an 8-win football team. I don't think they're anything special, but I think it was a solid win on the road. I just think it's another barometer game for BYU to kind of see how they're moving forward. BYU is a much better football team. I think that's the interesting dynamic, because now BYU is getting to a point in the Big 12 where they're not the underdog in every game. They were feeling that pressure of being a favorite in many games last year, but they're going to be expected to just handle business against Colorado. And that's kind of a new dynamic for BYU, is going into Big 12 games where you are the clear favorite, and they're going against a Colorado rush defense that's one of the worst in college football. So it poses an opportunity for L.J. Martin to have a field day, but I think he had Coach Prime, Kalani, the love you to life sort of commentary, the love fest between those two. I don't know where that came from, where it's just this big love fest. But I think it's a good matchup, and I'm curious to see if Caden Salter, the Colorado quarterback, continues to have the success he did last week through the air, but also on the ground. He's the leading rusher for the Buffs. It's kind of a running back by committee for Colorado this season. So I just think it's kind of a light week for, again, the marquee games, as you noted. And I think BYU and Colorado is just the first real game where BYU steps into a spotlight window for the TV's perspective.
Well, before I get to my game pick of the week, I think with the BYU thing, it's actually been a perfect scenario for Bear Bachmeier as that true freshman quarterback to come in. You had absolute, just like basically a scrimmage against Portland State that you ran. There was a definite step up in talent, but certainly not a very good team in Stanford. So another kind of, hey, let's level you up a little bit. He had a couple of shaky moments. The defense or the offensive lines a couple times in protections let him down a little bit, or his running backs or whomever, and he got that pressure that made him feel, okay, what am I going to do here? But this is a guy who's held on to the ball. Not just not throwing interceptions. That fumble was called back, of course, and so he still hasn't turned the ball over as a freshman. Now, that I want people to understand, that will end. Like, you're going to throw interceptions in college football. This is not the way that it goes. He's not going to go the rest of the season without throwing picks. And I also want to warn people about this. But again, like I said, too, you're going against Colorado. That's not a Texas Tech in Lubbock game, okay? And then they have West Virginia at home. That is not a TCU down in Fort Worth kind of game. So these are games that are leveling them up, I think, a little bit every week until they're tough competition in that 5-game stretch through the middle.
It is true. And that's, I was talking with some people on the field in Greenville before the game from BYU staff, and they pointed to that too. So that's a great pull, because they feel like it's just truly been a leveling up for Bear as they continue to navigate this. But I will say, Colorado, under Prime at home, they've been known to pull off some upsets.
Yes. Yeah,
Nebraska 2 years ago. Last year, there were some big wins that, they pulled off a last-second victory over Baylor. So
they put 49 on Utah last year at home.
They can pull off some big wins at home, and I think that's what makes it a big game.
BYU fans, though, don't do this parallel between last year's bowl game and this year's game. Both teams are very different. It's
They
easy
are.
to go, oh, Jay Hill already knows how to attack this. I think there is an advantage. You know how to, and they don't have their Heisman Trophy winner, and they don't have their All-American quarterback. Great. That doesn't mean they're going to win this game by 50 points. It's a different defense for Colorado. They are a little bit better.
And Salter will run. You know,
And-
Shedeur Sanders was in the pocket. That's a different dynamic.
Yes.
Salter will take off. He had a big run against Wyoming, so
I'll warn
that
people
alone is
against,
massive.
I'll warn people against doing that. Like it will be easy to go, yeah, but they own him in that bowl game. They'll be able to study the film and own them again. It's a very different situation.
What game do you got?
I've got an Iowa State hosting Arizona game. And it's not because it's for two reasons. I still don't know who Arizona or who Iowa State really is. We definitely don't know who Arizona is, but Arizona has come out way more sharp than we thought that they would. They're taking care of business, but is it real? Iowa State they're 4-0 and they're coming off of a bye week. Matt Campbell's a great coach. But are they real? When I say are they real, their version of real is are they going to be the type of team that can compete with Texas Tech or Arizona State or BYU or whomever is at the top by the end of this one? Arizona's real is, are they an 8-win team or are they still going to be a 4-8 team? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who they are yet. But Arizona going to Ames is going to be a test, I think, for both teams, litmus test for them to kind of see, and for all of us to kind of see where Iowa State really is and where Arizona is. If Arizona goes in there and upsets Iowa State, it will just be another weird game in the history of Big 12 football where we have to throw our hands up and go, we know nothing about this conference. And then if Iowa State wins, you go, yeah, but it's Arizona. So we'll see how this one rolls out, but I'm interested to see how that one turns out in Ames.
And I think it's going to be a defensive slugfest. Arizona's defense, I think, is really good this year. Genesis Smith on the back end of that defense. You know, Iowa State has no problem playing a game that's 16-13. That's what they are very comfortable in that space. I could see this being a low-scoring game. I think when you think of Arizona, really any Western teams from the old Pac-12 days,
kind of sling it.
You think offense, but this could be an awesome defensive battle between Arizona and Iowa State. So I think that is a good pick, and it's going to be a good one. I mean, Iowa State's probably a slight favorite because of the home dynamic, but I think if Arizona wins this one, we start to look at them as, you know, in that top 5 potentially of the Big 12 and maybe a team that could really win this league. I think there's still half this conference we can make a case.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Going into week 5 that could say, yeah, I could see them maybe being in Arlington. And
sure.
I think that's the beauty of this race in a game like Iowa State, Arizona, that a few years ago you would have said, what on earth is this matchup? Like, why are these teams playing? Now you go, they're in the Big 12, and this is a pretty cool matchup, and it's going to be some high-level football with some two good defenses squaring off. I think it's going to be a good game.
All right, here's what we've got. We've got to take a break. Our first hour is in the books. We've got more next hour. We've got tons to bring to you, including our weekly power poll. We'll see if we can come to a consensus on what that should look like. It's an absolute friggin' mess, by the way, just to give you a preview, as it is every week. Stay right here with us. It's First and 12 right here on KSL News Radio.